What were the main takeaways from the report?
Some of the big takeaways to come away from the system are that we need to have much simpler, stronger laws. Commissioner Hayne makes the point that our law is complex because every time there's been a major reform, industry has lobbied for carve-outs and exemptions, and that's what makes the law complex. He says the law needs to reflect basic community expectations. So people should treat you fairly. If you go to an advisor, they should act in your best interests. People should not lie to you when you're dealing with them in the banking system. These are simple community expectations that we expect to see reflected in the law and enforced by regulators.
And Alan, tell me a little bit about the recommendations around mortgage broking.
The Royal Commission has recommended a complete overhaul of the way that mortgage broking works. Commissioner Hayne makes the point that you go to a broker because you want advice, you want them to tell you what's best for you. At the moment, that's not guaranteed. They work for the banks and they don't have any obligation to act in your best interests. He has recommended an end to the commissions where banks pay brokers and a shift to a system where brokers are paid by consumers. That's the only way to make sure that brokers are working for you and not for the banks.
And Alan, what are some of the big wins that have occurred so far in this report?
The Commission really calls out the problems with what it calls conflicted remuneration. Now, they are the bonuses and commissions that work the whole way through the financial system that mean that staff and advisors and brokers are far too often making a recommendation based on what will earn them the most rather than what's actually good for you. And Commissioner Hayne has said there are far too many types of this commission, this remuneration in the system, and we need to remove the rest of them. This is a really important reform to make sure that the system will work for us, not for banks and their hip pockets.
And the Australian Banking Association today said they're very sorry for the behaviour. What do you expect of their behaviour going forward?
It's great to see financial institutions say that they're sorry. What we now need to see is those words followed up with action. So what is really critical is the industry backs the reforms that Commissioner Hayne has recommended. If what we see is the industry coming out and arguing to slow down reforms, to have carve-outs and exemptions, we're going to have all the same problems that the Banking Royal Commission report has described happen in the system now. The law will be littered with exemptions, it won't be strong, it won't be consistent, and consumers will lose out.
Thank you, Alan.